Teams everywhere are dealing with a serious problem, a productivity problem. It's no secret, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. Most tech is too complicated, there are too many time-consuming tasks, and teams aren't getting the info they need to close deals and connect with customers. Don't worry though, HubSpot's customer platform can help. It was built to save time and make your job easier so you can get back to building your business. No more hours wasted on time-consuming tasks, no more chasing down prospect info, no more one system for this, another system for that. HubSpot can help you find leads, reach prospects, and deliver the insights you need to convert them to customers, all in one place. Plus, HubSpot AI can literally do more of your work for you so you can focus more on scaling your business. Because HubSpot knows you have some big growth goals. And they're here to make your productivity problem no problem at all. Visit HubSpot.com to learn how they can help you grow better. Happy Sunday, everyone. Today is April 7th. I'm Jon Weigell, and this is the weekend edition of the Hustle Daily Show. Today, we're diving into a pretty touchy topic for some couples out there, joint finances. A big part of any relationship is money, how it's spent, where it's spent, and what long-term goals there are with it. For example, a Bread Financial survey conducted in 2023 showed that 64% of couples admit to financial incompatibility with their partners. And in the US, marriage has declined by 60% since the 1970s, according to CNBC. So how do we set proper goals as couples in an age where marriage and combining bank accounts aren't as enticing? To give us some perspective on all that, we're joined by Michelle Winterfield, the co-founder of couples finance app Tandem. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. Here we are with Michelle Winterfield, the co-founder of Tandem. Welcome, Michelle. How are you doing today?
Thanks so much, John. I'm doing great. So excited to be here with you and tell more about the story.
Yeah, it's super exciting to have you here. And of course, I did a little explaining up top in the introduction, but can you talk to me about what exactly is Tandem and what are the problems that it's aiming to solve?
Yeah. So Tandem is a finance app for couples to help them manage and achieve money milestones together. And the problem we're looking to solve was really born completely out of a personal pain point. Myself and our entire team actually all moved in with their significant others before getting married and collectively realized that it's really difficult to build a financial life together before you're married. In a nutshell, what Tandem was born out of was our own personal experience and view that the modern couple needed a new solution to manage money together.
Yeah, and very fascinating that you all kind of got together with this similar problem of being in a relationship and not knowing how to kind of effectively manage finances together. I feel like that's a problem for kind of a lot of couples up there. Mm-hmm. What would you say were some of the pain points in using maybe other applications like a Venmo or a Zelle where you're constantly just kind of sending money back and forth? What problem did you see in just doing something like that?
Yeah. Well, before starting the company or even thinking about building something, we talked to hundreds of couples and the stories were obviously all different, but so similar in the pain points that they were running into, which were super aligned with what I was running into with my own now husband. And I can kind of skew it in the sense of our own personal story. We moved in together out of college, both had our own jobs and careers going. And we're essentially combining our lives, but knew we wanted to stay financially separate for the time being. We just weren't ready to combine all of our assets yet. So we saw the options as you can manage everything in Venmo or a spreadsheet and kind of send the same 10 requests every week, or you can kind of take the jump and get a joint account from any bank. Everyone offers them. Mm-hmm. So we had actually gone the joint account route, but were, like I said, not ready to combine our assets. So we were funneling money to it separately. We applied for new cards to attach to it. Just a whole hybrid situation to avoid the nonstop Venmo requests, which I would say is about what 90 to 95% of our user base comes from, is sending Venmo requests to manage shared bills. Right. So it really was a light bulb that struck in us, like, how come there was nothing else that we could find there that wasn't this joint debit card situation or kind of back and forth of P2P apps like Venmo or Splitwise. And it was such a resounding theme that we knew it would be worth building a solution.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I think it's a great opportunity given that we're in an age where marriage is coming a lot later I read something in CNBC had a stat that said that marriage has declined by 60% since the 1970s. So it's definitely kind of a more, quote, I guess, modern couple feel right now as people try to join their finances together and kind of understand each other financially while not being completely combined as traditionally they would like 10, 20, 30 years ago. So since more couples are getting married later, what do you think some of the benefits are with managing your finances as a couple early on?
Yeah, so you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly the biggest macro theme of the why now behind Tandem is that people are getting married later and later on in life. And with that, there comes a lot more financial complexity that people just didn't deal with decades before. Getting married right out of college, you didn't have any money saved. There was a lot less student debt. People hadn't made as much progress in their careers yet. So there really wasn't anything to combine. You just kind of approached it as a joint entity. And now with people getting married on average, the latest data showed between 28 and 32 to 35, depending on gender and whatnot, and city. There's a lot more that you're dealing with as you're coming to combine your money. So the benefit of starting to manage money together early on, regardless of if you're combining everything or keeping it separate, is it gets both parties in the relationship used to that equitable involvement, which I also think stemming into another macro theme of like the rise in divorce. So much of that is due to financial issues. And if you get out in front of it right away, so, we build our product for mostly serious couples that are moving in together. We're getting in at the very beginning of the relationship, being able to be transparent about money and understand, like, here's how we handle expenses. Here's how we handle big purchases. Here's how we handle whatever our living situation is, our future goals. It just sets such a strong foundation for those later on milestones, like starting a family, getting ready for retirement, buying your first home, that if you do not start to handle this from day one, and there's a lot of good articles that talk about people haven't talked about finance until they're actually planning their wedding. There's just so much room for issues and problems to arise. So we think it's the number one most important thing to start having those open and honest, transparent conversations about money upfront in your relationship to really help you succeed as a couple financially and just in your relationship as a whole.
Yeah, totally. It sounds like a theme of couples trying to get more comfortable with their finances most of the time and trying to have those tough conversations. From your conversations with more than 100 couples that you talked about, why do you think finances is such a touchy subject for a lot of couples?
It's so emotional for people. And one thing we have done kind of in our journey is we make a lot of content around this, like short form video on couples and finance. And although money is an emotional topic and everyone comes from different backgrounds and experiences with it, the more you can take the emotion out of it, the better, because it's just something that everyone has. Everyone has to deal with finances, deal with paying bills, deal with saving. And I think what we found through a lot of our conversations with couples is a lot of fear or like a lack of confidence that the other wouldn't accept whatever challenges or mishaps they've had with money in the past. That's why over 50% of millennials hide debt from their partner.
Wow.
They don't want them to know if they have credit card debt or exactly how much student debt they have or if they haven't made enough progress with it. And so I think, speaking to how you can kind of make this better from a relationship standpoint, always letting your partner know and being accepting and open of, it doesn't matter what you've done. Here's how we can do this moving forward and be open with each other and just have a really accepting attitude towards it, I think is how you can kind of get past that really awkward emotional stage of beginning to speak about money, because it is, like I said, so important to be able to have those conversations with your partner. If you don't, it just sets the grounds for a lot of issues later on.
Definitely. You need to get it all out there early on so that you can kind of tackle these issues when they start so you don't have to worry about it later, of course. What are some things you think Tandem can do to kind of alleviate that stress and unite couples more on the same page? And kind of like what you're talking about before about debt, can you see that within this app? Are you allowed to kind of see their financial records as well?
So the way we approached the product, and obviously took all of these conversations and personal experiences in mind as we were designing it, is we wanted something that kind of kept it casual. that made it just, all right, here's how we set this up. Here's how it goes. We have it working in the background and then we don't have to deal with it. It doesn't need to be a weekly issue that, oh, did you pay me for this? Or I know I'm paying for more than they are. Like you kind of set it and forget it. So the way we built the product, first thing we launched was our expense sharing platform. And we started with expense sharing because it's the first chronological financial thing that couples do together. So the way it works is you download the app, it hooks up with all of your current spending accounts. So credit card, debit card, bank account, however you spend money, you can integrate it into the app so you don't have to sign up for anything new to use this. We found people love spending on their Amex and getting points or their Chase card. And it was going to be really tough to change that spending behavior and we didn't want to. So you can connect everything you currently use and then it'll pull in all of your transactions just as it looks on your statements and only you see these. So your partner's not going to see all of your individual spending. They're just going to see what's relevant to them, what you choose to share with them. And then we track all of your shared expenses in what we call the joint ledger. So it'll take everything I share with what my partner shares with me. It nets it out against each other. So you have one running total at the top and you can settle up that balance whenever you want. So that's where it eliminates the back and forth of P2P applications like Venmo. And one thing we uncovered in talking to our user base and our research was, I don't even request everything that my partner owes me because I don't want them to feel like I'm penny pinching them or that it's awkward. And what using Tandem has allowed them to do is it's just normal. Like the rent comes in, I split it with them here, or like our car payment or groceries. It's not a big deal. It's just we've both accepted this is the ratio at which we split expenses and you can set whatever ratio you want because I think that's another big thing is the equitability of how you share expenses.
Sure.
I think there's this misconception that everything needs to be 50-50. But what a lot of people are doing now is kind of looking at, all right, you bring in X amount of income, I bring in Y. What makes the most sense? Should we base it on a percentage of income? And should we change it on a one-off basis? So you can do that in the app too. And it promotes a lot of, like I said, equitable involvement from both parties in the relationship and saves you a lot of time from going back to your credit card statements. And then lastly, awkwardness in, that sense of penny pinching your partner. And so that was the first experience we launched with a year ago. And what we just announced over the past week is the next kind of phase of our platform, which is a way to plan and save for money milestones. And that can be, saving for a home, saving for a wedding, saving for a family, or even something like a vacation. You can set a savings goal with your partner. It's a high yield savings account. And then you can go out to any website and any app and add those products to your shared goal. So it's kind of like Pinterest meets wish list meets fintech. It actually mirrors the process that couples actually go through, which is finding the inspiration, saving the money, contributing towards it together, tracking it, and then actually making the purchases. And again, that was completely informed by our user base. And like, this is what we're actually doing. We share expenses. Now we're starting to plan for larger items that we're buying together. And, we need a way to do that. That's not texting links back and forth or managing in a spreadsheet.
Right.
So that's really how we've kind of built the product experience to emulate how the modern couple is behaving.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a really nice relationship one-to-one with your users. Can you talk to me a bit about how you get so much feedback from them, kind of where that sources from and the relationship, I guess, with your user base?
Yeah, it's been our single most rewarding and exciting, humbling part of the whole experience is the conversations we've been able to have with our user base. So we do reach out just personally. My co-founder and I will email people and say, hey, would you be willing to get on the phone for 20 minutes? We'd love to just pick your brain, trying to make the product better. And people are surprisingly open to doing that. And people get on the phone and be like, we've been a user for a year and a half. And like, here's what we want to see next. So we'll just do direct calls. We have an in-app chat. So people, when they have a question or a feature request or feedback or something that's broken, they can let us know right in the app. And then lastly, a big focus of ours has been building up our online community. So we, like I said, make a lot of short form educational content around couples and finance. We've built up an audience of about 300,000 followers now. We did that just within a few months. And we get instant feedback from those topics that we talk about, just direct access to the target market. That's been fantastic for us.
That's really great that you have a lot of users that are willing to give feedback. I was wondering, based off of the success that you've had so far with Tandem, is there any interest in expanding the business towards credit cards or banking or anything like that in the future? Because I know that there's a lot of new banking and credit card options out there for people.
We really try to just listen to what the user wants. And if there's an avenue that adding a financial product would make the experience better for them, we would totally be open to it. The catalyst moment at which all of your high LTV financial products are purchased is when you're getting into a serious relationship. That's when the home is purchased, the car, the family started, and no one has really attacked that milestone.
I mean, I'm always fascinated by the economics around dating and relationships and how that changes over time with things like inflation. We actually just did a video on the Hustle channel about dating and the economics of that and how dating is just getting crazy expensive in all of these cities across the United States.
Insane.
What do you think the future holds for Tandem? How are you planning to evolve as the modern couple evolves even more?
Our vision for the company is that we can continue to evolve with our user base as they go through these money milestones. And then how do we best really entrench ourselves in making sure that their financial product suite as a household is optimized, that they're ready and utilizing all that's available to them. Super dynamic, obviously, how people approach these stages, the legality of marriage and how that's not become as important anymore. That changes how your financial products are set up and what benefits you can really obtain from how the industry is today. So I think long term, as we continue to scale and become bigger, that'll be something we really hope to change and make easier for people, is how do you really utilize the benefits that the financial services industry has kind of offered that legality behind marriage if it's not something that you choose to do or you choose to do later in life.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome to hear that you're helping couples talk about their finances and grow together financially and get more comfortable around the topic, because I feel like it's something that people have been so uncomfortable with. So it's great to hear. And Michelle, just wanted to thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really insightful and hope to talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, John. Honored to be a part of this.
And that's all we got for today, everybody. Thanks for tuning in on this Sunday. We are a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email, and we'll see you Monday.
Hey everybody, this great new podcast just came out and I can't wait to tell you about it. It's called The Next Wave, AI in the Future of Technology, and it's hosted by Matt Wolf and Nathan Lands. And of course, it's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. You can catch The Next Wave with Matt Wolf and Nathan Lands, who are leading AI creators who are your guiding light in the AI and technology frontier. AI technology is transforming the way we do business, and the media landscape is a bit fragmented, but The Next Wave strives to be the leading podcast on AI technology and how you can apply it to growing your business. You can listen to The Next Wave wherever you get your podcasts.